Alright guys, welcome to this Photoshop tutorial on brushes and essential tools. I'm going to be doing introduction to brushes and tools in Photoshop. In this lesson, we will cover the basics of using the brush tool, the eraser, the clone stamp, the healing brush tools, and how to customize brushes. This is very important, how to customize brushes. By the end, you will have a solid understanding of these tools and how to leverage on them in your project. Let's get started with it. So what is the brush tool? Now the brush tool is used for painting on your canvas. The brush tool is used for painting on your canvas. It allows you to add color, texture, and various effects to your image. Now the brush tool is this tool here, of course. So it paints custom brush strokes. So this is for painting on your canvas. It's found right here, or you can use B to get to it. Just press the B key and you go to it. Now, how do you use the brush tool? You can select the brush tool, of course, and then you can start painting over. Now, of course, click and drag over to paint. Now, you can notice that it's painting, but it's kind of faint, right? So, what's the issue? I'm going to show you. The reason is because of the color here. So, the brush paints with the foreground color. And the foreground color, as I've shown you before, is this color in front here. The one behind is called the background color. So what color do you want to paint? Let's say we want to paint blue. You can select blue and begin to drag over. Now you can see we are painting over our canvas with the brush tool. Right now, to adjust the brush size, you can open the brush preset picker here and begin to increase or decrease the size of your brush. So if you increase it, the brush size is increasing. See what we have. So if you reduce it, it's reducing. So you can actually make it look like a pen. And then you can also adjust the hardness or softness. So what is the hardness, softness? Of course, how soft the edge is. You can see this is a soft round brush. That's why the edges are blurry, kind of. That's what you're using here. But if it is hard, it will feel more like a pen. So let me say increase the hardness to this, and this is still the same size, right? This one and this one are still the same size, but this is soft, this is hard, right? So you can increase the softness or hardness by adjusting these two stuff here. Now there's a shortcut to do this because you will do this a lot, so you actually need a shortcut for it. Now the left bracket key is used to reduce the size. Notice as I'll start pressing it, observe what will happen with the size up here. So I'll start pressing it, it's reducing the size, right? Reducing the size, and if I start pressing the right one, it starts increasing it, right? Reducing, increasing, and all of that. So if I want to reduce the hardness, I'll have to hold shift, right? And click the left one to reduce it. To increase it, I'll hold shift and start pressing the right one to start increasing it. Now there are the brush tool has different things that you can set up. One of them is the opacity. For example, this opacity, you can make this brush to be less opaque, right? So you can begin to paint. It's now faint, right? You can increase it and make it becomes more visible. Increase a little, something like this. Then it becomes like this, right? Or can actually keep it at 100%. So you can adjust all of these to create an effect you want. You can make the flow 100% to make it flow properly, right? And all of that. As you can see, it looks like these ones are harder than these ones. They are more closely related. They are flowing together more than these other ones we've been painting all the while. So as time goes on, we're going to touch all of this stuff, but that is how it works, right? I'm going to press Ctrl Z to remove a couple of these. If not, let's just remove all of them. And I'm going to show you the eraser tool. And the eraser tool is this tool down here. You can get to it by pressing E or clicking on the tool icon here. And it changes the pixel to the background color or makes them transparent, right? That's what it does. Now you observe that the eraser tool still has the same thing as the brush because all of them are brush tools, so to say. So you can still reduce it by pressing the left braces, or increase it by pressing the right braces, right? So you can begin to drag over it to erase. Now there is nothing to erase because this is a transparent layer. So, but let's say we have a polygon here, and then we select our eraser tool and begin to, of course, you cannot work on it because it's not directly editable. So let me say, don't bother about what I'm doing. I'm just rasterizing the layer. If I begin to paint on this now, to begin to wipe it away completely, right? So if I now hold shift and press the left braces, it's going to reduce the hardness of my eraser brush. So I can now wipe like this. So you can just adjust these things to get to what you want. If I want it to wipe it but not wipe it completely, I can reduce the opacity here and then begin to wipe. You see, it's wiping some parts, but it's not wiping everything off. Except I now come over it and wipe it over and over and over and over and all of that. So that is just your call. How do you want it to look and all of that? Then taking us to the next tool will be the clone stamp tool. The clone stamp tool, you can get to the clone stamp tool by clicking on the icon on the toolbar or pressing S on your keyboard. It paints with pixel from another part of the image. So for this, I'm going to open up a new image. I just opened up this image. And with the clone stamp tool, how do you use it? Remember I said it paints over an order. Let me say it paints with pixels from another part of the image. So you have to tell it what pixel to use to paint over. So I want to paint over this down area, this bottom area of the image. But it doesn't paint with colors. It paints with pixels from another image. And to simplify it, it just clones the image. So let me say to do that, you have to hold alternate, right? Alt, and then click on the part of the image you want to use as your source, as your reference point. I'm going to click here, and then I'll start dragging it over here. If I begin to drag it, it begins to clone this image down here. I'm clicking and dragging over this. It's cloning this image right here. So this is a very useful tool if you are doing photo manipulation, right? So that is it. It's used to, you can click, you can use Alt, hold Alt, select it, another image. Hold Alt, select a point on the image that you want to use as your reference point, and then begin to click and drag over on the other parts of the image, right? Then we'll go over to the healing brush tool. The healing brush tool, you can get to it by clicking on the healing brush tool in the tool panel, or just pressing J on your keyboard. Now there are several variants of this tool, different variants. There is the spot healing tool and the patch tool and content aware move tool, red eye tool, and all of that. We're going to start with the healing brush tool. Similar to the clone tool, you can hold Alt, right? But first of all, let's see what it does. It repairs imperfections using pixels from another part of the image. So you see, this one actually does more with repairing imperfections, right? So let me say this lady has a spot on this place and we want to remove it. So instead of trying to do whatever, stressing yourself, you can just use the healing brush tool, right? Pick a point in this image by holding Alt, just like you did in the clone stamp tool. Hold Alt and click on this place, and then leave Alt or options on the mark, and then click over this part. Now you can observe it intelligently removed the spot and replaced it with the pixel we picked from here, and no one would ever know that anything was there in the first place. So this is very powerful, right? So you can use it in your work to get stuff done. So it uses pixels from one part of the image to heal another part of the image, right? So there is also the spot healing tool, right? Let's say there's a spot here. You just click this one. You really don't, you can use a reference point, but let's see what it does. It removes marks and blemishes. So all you just need to do is to drag over it. As simple as that, it will remove it. So it will check, okay, what is supposed to be here, assuming this spot was not here. So with this, you can remove every kind of spot and all of that, but you must be careful to use it where it should be used so that it doesn't remove details from the image, right? So that is that. Before I go over to other stuff, let me show you the patch tool. And the patch tool replaces a selected area using a pattern or pixel from another part of the image, right? It replaces a selected area using a pattern from the other part of the image. So it's just you can drag. Look at how it works. You can drag this around, okay, and then begin to move this like this. So you are saying I want to replace whatever that was in my selection with this. So you can as well put the you can as well put the eye here, you can put the mouth here, you can do anything you want and all of that. So it's just some photo manipulation. It typically replaces what used to be here with any other part of the image. Okay, and it intelligently blends it in into your work. Finally, I'm going to show you how to customize your brush. So first of all, we need to open the brush settings panel. So go to window, right? Go to window and go to brush settings. So you can use F5 on your keyboard to do that. Now, all these are deactivated. The reason is we are not in the brush tool. So click on the brush tool or press B on your keyboard to get to it. Now, customize the brush and what the brush shape and what it looks like. You can adjust the brush tips, the brush tip shape. You can include diameter. You can adjust the diameter, angle, and roundness. Okay, so with this now, you can look at the size. You can adjust the size here, the hardness, and then the spacing. Now, this will even help you understand what brushes are. Brushes, when you begin to drag with a brush, you start seeing. Let me just go back a little and show you. Start seeing something like this. But these are actually different circles, right? Some of them are blurry circles depending on what you set for the hardness, but they are just one spot joined together. So with this spacing now, you space it out so that they can appear like this, right? No longer together, and they don't look like a line. So that's what spacing does for you. Then there are many other things to adjust here on your brush. So things like the shape that dynamics, you can the jitter, right? How scattered they are. Jitter is like making it smaller, some bigger, randomizing the look of each brush um shape that you are drawing. So look at this. Some are bigger, some are smaller, and like that. So you can actually um set the minimum diameter and all of that. Even as it's doing the geota, you can do the test the geota angle and all of that. Roundness geota. So roundness geota is to so the all the brushes will no longer be circle in the same way. Some will be more rounded than the others. So and all of that. When you begin to drag this around, you see what you are creating a totally different kind of brush. So this is how you set up your brush to look like what you want. So you can test the scattering here. This is how what we are doing looks like, right? So let me say I increase the size. Come back here and increase the size of my brush, right? Let me come up a bit, yeah. And then I come back to scatter. Now look at this first. Look at what it looks like. And then when I scatter it, I can increase the count. I can increase the count here, and then the scatter, right? You can see the preview here. Increase the count, make the brush more mini as you start dragging, and then the geota count, right? So if you begin to use this now, you see what you are creating. So what I'm trying to show you is that you can create anything you want with your brush, and even add a texture and all of that. And if you start dragging, it kind of has a thicker, feel. That's the texture you are creating. You can change the texture to be grass, water, anything, or even custom textures, as the case may be. So you can take your time and go through all of these and try to, you know, set up some of these things and play around with it and see what you can come up with. I can tell you there's a lot you can actually come up with this. I think one time I even used this to create kind of a grass for the work I was doing at that time and colored it, and you will actually it actually look like a grass properly, right? So you can actually create a whole lot. Maybe one of these days I might even do a tutorial on some of these things what you can do with your brushes. So this is how to do this. Then if you when you're done creating, if you're happy with what you created, maybe you like the way it's looking now, you can save this preset so that you can use it later. So you don't have to redo this all over again. So you can save this and call it spaced round brush, anything you like, and then press OK. Now if you now come here and you can see space round brush down here, right, underneath the whole brush preset thing. After you've gone through all the ones that are here already, the presets, you can see the ones you've created, your own custom brushes down here. So that is how you can create custom brushes. So this brings us to the end of this tutorial. In this lesson, we have explored the basics of brush tool, the eraser, the clone stamp tool, the healing brush tool, and we've learned how to customize brushes. Now, mastering these tools will actually enhance your ability to create and edit images with precision and creativity. So I encourage you to go on and practice this. Rewatch this video if you need to see how to do the brush preset pin again and again, and it's going to help you a lot. Thank you very much for following this tutorial. If you have not liked or subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Even click the bell icon to get notified when I post the next video. And if I've already posted the next video on this playlist, just click the next button to watch it immediately. Thank you very much, and I will see you in my next video. Happy